So I just want to talk about something um, I'm pretty passionate about, which is movies. Um, now I've pondered and pondered why the movie Vertigo has such an effect on me, and another movie, Taxi Driver. Um, these are probably two of my favorite movies. And as I've thought about it, I think I've come to kind of sort of an answer, um, although I'm still not completely sure. Martin Scorsese himself even said about Vertigo that when they saw it, they didn't really know why it was good, but they knew there was something special about it. And I've thought a lot about that, and that's kind of the way I've felt for a long time. But I think I've come to a kind of an answer of why it's so good. I think it's pretty simple. It could be because Hitchcock made everyday mundane things, simple things, like average things, seem profound. And I think in a similar way, the movie Taxi Driver did the same thing. And I think also definitely the music contributed for each of the movies in helping that. Each movie kind of had this sense of kind of a weightiness in spite of its simplicity and mundaneness. It's like Scotty's driving around in his car for hours, and there's something mesmerizing about it, and there's just something about it, and just things like that, and going to a restaurant. Who would think that would be, if you analyze that movie objectively for what it is, for every shot, and say, what is this? What are we looking at? On paper, it'd probably sound really boring, and probably some people think it is a really boring movie, but there's something really deep and profound about it, even though many of the shots are very simple, and there's pretty mundane stuff being captured. I think it's how it's captured, and the music, and the acting, all those things combined, of course. But really, something that sets it apart from modern movies, as well as Taxi Driver, and there's probably a lot of other movies that are similar in this way, but they make the simple things seem profound, and the big they're not searching for big ideas. It's they're making big ideas out of things that don't seem necessarily big. And unlike today, where the action blockbuster, it's all about cramming in as much stuff as you can, as many plot twists and bangs and explosions and fights, and searching for something profound instead of finding the profound in the simple things and the mundane things, or the seemingly mundane. And that's why, much in the same way of Vertigo, where things are very interesting, even though on paper it would seem like it would be really boring and just, why would you even watch it? Taxi Driver, just, going through the streets of New York, there's something completely new feeling about, even, it's an old movie, but it feels new. It's almost like they're self-referential, and they kind of like are built from the ground up, and they're kind of in their own world. And to me, that's quite profound, considering they could be things that really happened, unlike a fantasy where they really are creating a world out of, not based in our real world sometimes, like The Lord of the Rings, which I do really like The Lord of the Rings. But what's profound about these movies, Vertigo and Taxi Driver in particular, is they seem to exist in their own world, even though they could be things that happen, but they still kind of seem to be self-referential, kind of in their own little world, their own little box. I think that's, I hope I've articulated myself well enough, but I think that's why they're great movies. And I'm sure there are a lot of movies like that. I mean, even Citizen Kane is kind of like that, I think. It's kind of has its own little way of thinking in itself, but it's still based on something that could have happened in real life. And in those ways, all those movies they're kind of fantasy. They are fantasy, but whereas today, they have all this technology, but yet they're trying to search for something, and all it a lot of times just seems to be overcomplicated messes. And instead, the real great things are where you'd least expect them. And I think that's what is great about those movies, the Taxi Driver and Vertigo. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching.